It's time we separated the boys from the men in the UEFA Champions League. The return leg of the quarterfinals takes center stage this midweek. And here's a preview of the games. My name is Ayomide Sotubo, and this is the Nutmeg on GuardianTV. Oh yeah, so this is our preview of the four games. You know the games, of course. It's the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal, second leg. It's between Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, Arsenal up against Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid against defending champions Manchester City. We've seen the first legs. Hogan is here to preview the second leg with me. Hogan, how are you doing? And what was your impression of the games from the first leg?
I'm very good. And see, the first leg gave me the vibe that I used to have back then. When it comes to UEFA Champions League football, we are always anticipating who will be the winner, except your club is actually playing in the game. And when you don't have your club playing in the game at the moment, you just want to know who will be the next champion. And it has been a fantastic game, actually. And it looks like the people who made the draws actually placed two teams that are equal to each other in the games, actually.
Yeah, nostalgic feelings, as you have said. And we have to start with the game between Bayern Munich and Arsenal. Now, I guess that's the most much anticipated game.
Yeah.
Because the first leg, it was like a script. It had every bit of a story. It was storied, really. The context was Arsenal were being they were dumped out by Bayern Munich in 2017, and they had to, prove their best and strut their stuff. But did they do that enough? And what are you expecting in the second leg? Keep in mind, it's at the Allianz Arena. It's Bayern Munich's home.
Yeah, I feel like there's a feeling that Arsenal has lost it in a way, because now you are going to Munich, where you have the atmosphere is not to your favor now.
Yes.
The atmosphere is to Bayern Munich's favor. The stadium, the fans, everything is just to Bayern Munich's favor. And already they've taken a point from your home. And don't forget, there is no away goal.
There's no away goal rules, yeah. So this makes it really interesting.
It's a very interesting game, and
yes,
we are looking forward to it. But I feel that Arsenal is going to put up the fight. If they do not stay back based on what has just happened to them in the Premier League.
Yeah, against Aston Villa.
Against Aston Villa, if they do not stay back on the loss.
But for Bayern, right, Bayer Leverkusen have just broken their 11-year dominance, winning the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
They're also out of the German Cup.
Yeah.
And now the only chance at silverware is the UEFA Champions League. They're not going to give this up easily. It's the quarterfinals. They will at least want to get to the semi-finals and probably go on to lift it. That's a questionable thing. But against the Arsenal at the Allianz Arena, doesn't that make it even more of a mountain to climb now?
Yeah, I feel that as we speak, both teams have mountains to climb, because it looks like that might be the only trophy that the Arsenal and Bayern Munich are also, longing for. And none of the teams wants to, based on everything they've experienced this season, especially for Arsenal, they've gone through a lot, and they've put up the fight. They've played very fantastic well, I must say. But they wouldn't want to go out of this season without a trophy, without a silverware. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a very interesting game, I put it to you. It's going to be an interesting game, and we do not know. We can't say until 90 minutes.
Who will you go for? Who comes out victorious in that game?
In the game, I see... I don't want to say Arsenal, I don't want to say...
It's a bold prediction.
Munich, but,
you should just go straight and make it.
Okay, I take Arsenal.
Okay.
I take Arsenal.
No problem. Let's move to another big one, perhaps bigger for some people. It's Manchester City up against Real Madrid. The first leg provided us a classic. 3 goals for each side. Box office kind of goals, especially from Valverde, even Josco Guardiola. This is why you watch the Champions League. You want to see the biggest stars perform to their optimum potential, and that's what they did. But now the second leg, these sides know each other. Both managers know each other. They're heading to the Etihad now, and there's this feeling that Real Madrid has given it up because they drew at home, just like last year. But do you think that Man City Because it does look like there's a treble of some sort on the card for them. Do you think they walk straight into this one as winners?
You see, there's a slight difference between the previous game we just mentioned, Arsenal Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid Man City. And the slight difference is that these two teams, Manchester City and Real Madrid, have been top-notch over the years. The king of
football, yes.
Football,
yeah, I mean,
Champions
yes.
League.
They are the last two winners of the Champions League.
And,
so.
you know, there's a pedigree that they are both looking at for. It's going to be a very interesting game in the sense that we might not have much goals like we had the previous game. For me,
what if we do? Somebody has to win, so who does?
Yes, everybody. Now, at this point, they begin to... I believe that the both teams must have gone back to check what were those things that we did wrong, that made us concede goals like this. Yeah, Manchester City were always coming top.
I mean, they were in control of that game.
They were scoring first, but Madrid equalized.
I always felt like Real Madrid would always take an interest in that game. They may not have controlled the game. They might not even control the game at Etihad, but I think one thing they have to watch out for is the transition of Real Madrid. They have players, brilliant players on the counter.
You see, for the past few years, watching that team, Real Madrid, they might be doing bad any other competition, but when it comes to Champions League,
yeah, you have to work out for their breakout. You really can't. You know? So are you saying on the strength of that they are favourites even at the Etihad?
Yes.
Okay, maybe that's it for you. Well, let's move to the next one, Paris Saint-Germain up against Barcelona. When you talk about nostalgic feelings, you want to remember how Barcelona had to come from behind some years ago and win them like that. But now the first leg expanded at the Parc des Princes, and we saw PSG actually lose. I mean, even though it's just by a goal, but it was 3-2, and it looks like there's still all to play for when they go to Barcelona's home.
For me, I think for this game, I'll just go straight to the point. Barcelona is up for the next round of the competition because I do not see Paris Saint-Germain putting up a fight in this competition. First, they're going.
But what if Kylian Mbappe? We know he works well on the big stages. When you need him the most, is the sort of player that can come good, come alive. I mean, keep in mind what he did in 2018, the final, even the last World Cup in 2022.
We need to work with some set of players.
But, well, for me, I do feel that in the last World Cup, he practically did it alone. That final against Argentina. I mean, the hat-trick, he practically pulled that nation on his shoulders.
I won't say that he practically did it alone because the ball did not start from him. It was not the one who saved the ball.
But most of the balls were directed to him.
Yes. So someone
and he found a
way
to bring them back in the game. I'm saying, what if Kylian Mbappe does that? I do feel that a factor in this game is if it comes good. If he does, it's a different ball game.
Well, however, like you said, we could talk from this point of view that there are some players who already know how La Liga is being played, how Barcelona plays their game in their stadium. And, we have the likes of Asensio in that game. In Paris Saint-Germain, we have the likes of Dembele, who has played there before, who scored the first goal.
Fantastic performance by him.
We also have Enrique, who is the coach who has formerly coached Barcelona.
Knows that team.
The team. So there are some things that we expect from them to be able to do, to just make the game lively again.
Okay, but are we just living at Barcelona?
Yeah, I still go with Barcelona.
I tend to agree with you a bit. I'm just imagining a world where Kylian Mbappe comes good. And then finally, the last game is Borussia Dortmund at Signal Iduna Park against Atletico Madrid. Atletico, no surprises. They've got a great record in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
They've never been beaten in the last 17 games in the quarterfinals in the UEFA Champions League. It was no surprise. But any surprises now? Are you expecting any surprises from Borussia Dortmund being at home on Tuesday?
Yes, I'm expecting a surprise. I think that's the only game I'm expecting a surprise. The other previous games, we could easily say, oh, this will put a fight, that will put a fight. But I feel that many fans out there, must have written Borussia Dortmund out of the game. But don't forget, this time it's their stadium. They are the ones playing the game, as it were. Atletico will have to travel far. A far distance to get to Bayern and to get to Germany, and they have to play this football. Don't forget that this football, the way we analyze football, sometimes we analyze football based on our own context. But this is a natural game that was going to be played on the pitch of play. The Borussia Dortmund has their fans to them, has the pitch to their favor. As a matter of fact, they have everything to their favor. If you look at Atletico Madrid that we talked about, that they've never lost a quarterfinal before, they've always gone to their opponent's home first, then they return back to their home in return. So it looks like yes, okay, we've gone to your
so
stadium.
Are you simply saying that Atletico will be dumped out of the UEFA Champions League?
I feel so.
And of course, we'll leave it at that. That's at the end of this episode of the Nutmeg. And yes, you can be part of our community here on the Guardian Nigeria by hitting the subscribe button. Also, you can get all our latest content right at your fingertips when you tap the notification bells. For this edition of the Nutmeg, thank you for watching and see you next time.